Hi, and welcome back. This is Philip, and this is Let's Win XCOM Long War. Now, I'm going to start off with the head in the game, because last mission I lost two soldiers. One of them was a corporal, so he had two perks. And though we did succeed in the mission, and we got our 100 credits, it was an abduction, so retreating wasn't a great option. I am a little concerned with how this game is going. For one, I have as many wounded, or I have as many out of it troops as I have ready troops almost. I feel like I've missed a lot of interceptions. Like, I haven't been able to shoot down a UFO yet. And that has cost me a lot of experience and a lot of goodies, which, you know, translates into cash. We did manage to assault the one landed UFO that I encountered, and I've been pretty frugal with things. I don't actually have anything I can produce using alien items yet, but we're moving towards carapace armor by researching alien materials. We have a spare satellite coming up because of my horrid interception ability. I'm surprised I haven't lost a satellite yet, since I've had like 6 UFOs fly by me and then the hunters come 3 or 4 times. We have saved up our A team to tackle whatever nastiness comes in the last week of the month before the council report. Since we haven't seen a council or terror mission yet, I assume we may get one and or both of those. And I think I'm ready. We've actually passed up. Let's go to the situation room and look at this. We actually passed up an abduction because we only had one non-rookie available to go. That was in India. And you can see it set the terror here to 5, which means we're likely to lose India and its 36 credits at the end of this month. I don't feel, for one, I don't have the satellite capacity. I'm at 3 of 3 to launch a satellite over India, nor since Australia's already gone, I'm willing to let the whole continent just let the whole continent go. Go to hell, basically. I may or may not tackle some of the what are bound to be extremely dangerous abduction missions that go on over there. I'm just saying the game is still playable. It was only 2 troops. We've had some panic go up, and I don't feel so good about the economy of interceptions that I've had so far. Basically, we're losing the air war, and it's cost me in a lot of areas, but I still think the game is playable. And I'm going to proceed ahead. In Long War, you're bound to end up in some tight situations. And what you need to do is prioritize, struggle through, and make smart choices about where you use the resources you have. So, my primary resources left are my troops, and the remaining amount of panic I can have in the world. I can let, instead of going on a mission that's going to kill my soldiers, I can let the panic go up. So, I'm going to stay aware of all these things as I play through the game. But I don't have much slack, I feel. Okay, so barring the sad talk, let's have a long haul talk about how panic actually works in Long War, because it's significantly different from vanilla XCOM. For one, the idea was to make panic much stickier than in vanilla. It didn't increase as often, but when it did increase, it's much harder to reduce. So it feels like a more permanent It's a little more painful when your panic goes up, and it's just harder to get rid of. It's more of a slow, encroaching danger than a wildly swinging, you know, temperamental kind of statistic. So let's look at the specifics. In Long War, aliens do not have as many ways to increase panic, but you have fewer ways to reduce it. You can reduce it by winning terror and special missions, meaning council missions, assaulting UFOs, orbiting satellites over countries, and defeating alien bases. So those are how you reduce terror. So let's see. Orbiting a satellite will reduce panic in a country by 1. I think extremely highly... yeah, there's some notes that I don't understand from the game description, so I'm just going to stick with that. Orbiting a satellite will take panic down by 1. Defeating an alien base will not lower panic worldwide like it used to. Instead, it will return a country to XCOM at 4 panic. So Australia, if I were to defeat the alien base that's in Australia, and every country you lose will have an alien base in it. If I were to retake Australia by destroying, you know, capturing and killing everything in that alien base, I would get it back with 4 panic. That's your reduction for defeating the base. That's all you get. It goes from completely lost to 4 panic. Successfully assaulting a UFO lowers panic by 1. Now, I believe what is meant by this is not a crashed UFO, though I'm not sure. I think they mean landed UFOs only. But I'll double check, I'll keep my eyes open whenever I finally shoot down a frickin' UFO. Other differences between vanilla involve things that do not raise panic anymore. For one, escaped UFOs no longer raise panic. But if you ignore a UFO, that means you don't tag it with an interceptor, whether you fire a single shot or not. If you don't enter the screen where you see the digital representation of your interceptor and that UFO for like a split second, if you don't go there and abort, then that UFO, when it leaves, will raise panic. This is something that you should always be able to do. You only need to have a live at least one interceptor live. If you want to tag 95% of the UFOs. Maybe you'll get 2 UFOs at once. Unlikely but possible. But for the majority, this is easy to avoid unless you get all your interceptors damaged. And as you may have seen with me, I have had to let ships go to make sure I had an undamaged interceptor who can tag a UFO so that it does not increase panic. Alright, so shooting down a UFO does not reduce panic anymore either. So that is everything. Let's go over this again. What increases panic? Oh, so no, there's one more. Abduction and terror missions. I believe a terror mission, a failed terror mission, will either instantly lose you that country that month. I think it sets panic to 5, and at the end of the month you lose them. I'm not sure if you can win them over with a satellite and take it down to 4 at that point. Hard to say. But losing a terror mission is really bad for panic. I wouldn't be surprised if it also raised the panic across the whole continent, but I don't see anything in the notes here. I don't know what's going on. Undefeated abduction raises panic by 2 in the country it's in. So India went from 3 to 5, I believe, and 1 across the whole continent. So China got worse, Japan got worse, and Australia was already gone. So as long as it's all concentrated in Asia, fine. It'll be a really nasty war to take back Asia if I ever get around to it. But I'll take a concentrated selection of really pissed off countries over one or two on each continent. Alright, so let's go back. What can increase panic? Losing a terror mission, losing or ignoring a terror mission, losing or ignoring an abduction are really bad.
Haven't gotten any outside reports.
Ignoring a UFO. Never sending a fighter out to at least touch base with a UFO will increase panic. And that's it. That's all. Aliens can perform a special mission, like what happened to Australia, where they instantly steal a country. I talked a little bit about this before. I haven't seen it in action, but I know late in the game they start to consider it. And you can intercept every one of these missions as a UFO before it actually happens on the map. So it can be prevented, but I suppose that would be another way you can increase panic. And then you can decrease panic by assaulting UFOs. I'm pretty sure only landed. By winning terror missions and council missions. Now remember, losing a council mission does not raise panic. Orbiting a satellite will reduce panic, and defeating an alien base will give you a country back, thus reducing the panic in that country. Alright, so we've gone over Long War. Panic, stickier, hard to get rid of, but also it doesn't increase just willy-nilly like it did. So let's jump into the mission and see what it is, because it might be a long one. Alright, alien materials is complete. This gives me access to alloy plating, anti-material kit, and heat ammo mags. Let's take a quick look at each of these. Alloy plating is a soldier equipment, like the ceramic plating, which gives you 1 extra health. The alloy plating gives you 2 extra health. And remember, this health isn't health that puts you in the hospital longer if it's lost. So it's basically free. If you can not take damage to your actual soldier's health and only to armor, such as the bonus health you get from this, then you can stay out of the hospital completely and only be gone for 5 to 6 days for rest. So definitely worth having if you want your troop turnaround to be faster, which I do, because as you can tell I have few experienced troops and I need them out of action as little as possible. A little expensive, uses alien alloys, but we'll get to that. Alright, heat ammo mags. This is a Shiv equip. The Shiv can hold 3 items, as I have probably said earlier, and each will give it a perk. This gives it heat ammo, which is double damage against robotic enemies, which is excellent, especially with Flush. With the high accuracy bonus and double damage, you are really good at picking off drones with that, and finishing off powerful robotic units, which thankfully we haven't encountered yet. Lastly, an interesting item that I've never actually equipped one of, I may have built it, the anti-material kit, and this is material in the military sense, is a sniper only pocket item for soldiers, and it gives your sniper heat ammo and reduces your accuracy by 40%, as well as reducing your ammo capacity to 1. So you have to reload after every shot, and your accuracy is reduced by 40. However, in a pinch, this gives you anti-robot capacity via your snipers. yeah, I think the trade-offs are fairly obvious since snipers do about 5 damage, 4 to 6 really, double that, and you're looking at some serious robotic damage. Probably best on a sniper who also has gunslinger to allow them some other ability to shoot and not have to waste that one shot on non-robotic enemies. And best when you have a good idea that robots will be involved. And really it's best not to ever take this and to have gunners and rocketeers and engineers who have heat weaponry available. Still, in a pinch, you can turn a baby sniper into a baby anti-tank shot, or a couple of baby snipers into a little squad. Just remember the accuracy penalty is huge. So, what are we going to research next? What indeed? Experimental warfare is unlocked if you research xenobiology or weapons fragments. And hold on, the screen's going to pause while I check to see exactly what it does. I have the tech tree open on my desktop. So, experimental warfare would give me access to the Phoenix cannon, which is an interceptor weapon, very desirable. I will be able to research plasma carbines if I capture enough of them. I think it's 5. A couple of foundry projects will open. I can't actually build the foundry until I research weapon fragments. And I'll be able to build 2 additional Shiv items, smart shell pods and proximity sensors. Smart shell pods I think are the flush item, and proximity sensors are the close combat perk for the Shiv. So I really want that Phoenix cannon. I'd love to go for the carapace armor, but I might do that later since it would take 30 days, and I would love to capture a floater and get that research bonus. I'm gonna hold off.
Our satellite is prepped and standing by for launch.
Alright, we're saving our cash to spend at the beginning of next month. Okay, so first terror mission.
They've changed their tactics.
Tokyo. Well, swarming. At least the enemies probably won't be that bad. I mean, you guys will see. So, swarming terror. We're gonna take our A team. This is definitely the last mission of the month. Or at least I hope so. And who... Got a lot of good troops here, so I'll just take everyone except for this, probably a medic guy here. Alright, let's look at the perks. We have rifle suppression, bullet swarm, executioner, and lock and load. The high capacity magazines, reloading is a serious issue in terror missions. Also, shotguns are so important in terror missions. Just, you have to believe me. Now, like I said, shotguns have way more ammo, 5 shots as opposed to 3 for the sniper assault rifle. You can actually do without high capacity mags, especially on an infantry who can shoot and then reload in a single round. If you really need the equipment, and I'm gonna go ahead and tell you that I probably really need the equipment. Also in terror missions you can expect a lot of melee enemies and relatively few ranged enemies. Let's come back to this. I'm gonna give him a frag grenade right off the bat. And maybe we'll come back and revisit that. let's see. Here's our medic. You guys know exactly what I am not going to forget to do this time, right? Medikit. He's got a frag grenade, but he's also got the smoke grenade perk. And an easy way to check is to simply unequip all your smoke grenades and see if the perk stays in the right hand side. And we're gonna give him an extra smoke grenade. I do expect aliens to be more melee, but you never know. Okay. Let's come back to that. Here we have a Rocketeer. We are of course going to bring the Shredder Rocket because it's so awesome, and the laser sight because we don't want to blow ourselves up with horrid aim. Nod nod, wink wink. You're not going to be like that last guy, are ya? Note that lock and load is less effective on gunners and Rocketeers because they don't have pistols. The gunners, however, simply need the ammo. Here is our scout, level 2. We can give her, Let's look at the loadout. I am most likely, I will take 1 arc thrower charge and 1 grenade on my scout. And for my assault, I'm going to go with, I'd be tempted to give an arc thrower, but chrysalids can't be captured alive. And I think floaters are the other thing I'm likely to encounter. And capturing them alive can be problematic. They do close in pretty well, but I probably just want to be able to survive. So I'm gonna go with 2 grenades. Now what is missing? I don't have a scout. I mean a sniper. Well, nothing to be done about that. Okay, so let's look at perks. I'm gonna start with the Rocketeer. This one should be pretty easy. So extra conditioning is available, which of course increases my armor health, allowing me to take hits without going to the hospital as much, and of course survive. That won't be so important during this mission because mostly it'll be melee troops that I have trouble with, I hope. Covering fire allows reaction shots to trigger on enemy attacks, not just when they move. Not so important to my explosive person, that's more of a gunner perk. And Shredder Rocket. So I can carry a Shredder Rocket, and if I take this perk, I'll have 2. And I can even leave this Shredder Rocket behind in my inventory and put something else awesome there, and still have a Shredder Rocket and a normal rocket. So this allows me to have 3 rockets, which is great, exactly what I want. Alright, let's check out our medic. Now we have Field Medic, we have Smoke Grenade, and now our choice is Bombardier, which says throw or launch grenades over exceptionally long distances. I think this increases your grenade range by quite a bit. Let me see if it says in the notes. Doesn't say. I think it's like 50%. If I took this, I would consider taking a frag grenade just because you'll see how super useful it is to have to be able to throw long distance grenades. This is more of an engineer perk, which they share some of the medic abilities, but really awesome. Tactical Sense, which increases my defense per enemy in sight, and Savior, which makes my medic kits and my first aid kits heal double health. This guy is my defensive buffer. I'm just gonna have to go with Savior at the moment. You only get so many uses of the med kit, and soon hopefully I'll be having lots of health, which of course will mean lots of healing is required. Alright, and lastly we have our other assault, who has extra conditioning, running gun. So he's tough, he's flexible and fast. Now we give him lock and load, which remember for a troop, when it's not from the high capacity magazines, but a troop perk increases your number of shots by 2 for both your pistol and your main weapon, which would give us 7 shots with our shotgun. I can give him smoke grenade, which I'll get back to because I think that's the best choice. Or you can give him tactical sense. He's an assault, so smoke grenade is actually a really awesome, has a really awesome synergy with running gun, because you can throw a grenade, and then you can choose to running gun, move, and attack into that grenade's smoke, which is something other troops can't do. They'll need someone else to throw the smoke for them, and then they can't move and attack. It's really efficient, and if there are more floaters than I think there are, that could be a big deal. Finally, we have our scout. So remember, these are the standard long war perks. They're the ones I've gerrymandered for my own purposes, for my own mod. The tactical sense overhaul, and I give scouts the ability to take run and gun as their next action, giving them run and gun and lightning reflexes. And I know this, a lot of purists will be disappointed that the base perks aren't unique per class, but I think it lets them fill a tactical role that's much more interesting. And besides, they're still scouts. They still have the low hit points, they have the high accuracy, they can't take shotguns. It's a completely different world for them. They also don't get access to extra health ever. My other choices are Flush, which as we've all seen is excellent, especially with the super high accuracy of the scout. And since they'll be forward, they can often run off nasty enemies that can't target other units. Will to Survive, which is really powerful, but because of the low health of the scout isn't quite as good as it is on some others. It reduces all normal damage by 2 if you're in cover and not flanked. This includes grenade damage even if it destroys your cover, at least that initial grenade. Which can be really useful for scouts you really want to survive. If you want to make a tough scout who can get close and not get murdered instantly by a lucky shot or 2, then Will to Survive is great. And then of course run and gun lets your scouts be extremely mobile and pick off enemies on the outside. I feel like run and gun, I might lose my scout just by being all tempted to do crazy stuff. This is a very hard choice for me. I'm gonna go with... Remember, Flush uses double ammo, which is really tough on the assault rifle, since that means you can only use it once before you have to reload. Though you'll have an additional standard shot. I'm gonna try... I'm gonna take run and gun, and I'm gonna try and be really careful, but I may just end up being stupid and getting my scout killed, since I feel like that. We're gonna keep the arc thrower. Alright, we're gonna stick with that setup. I'm gonna double check all my equipment, grenades, rockets, frag grenade, laser sight, shotguns in everyone's hand who can use a shotgun. Alright, let's go. So this is obviously an extra long episode, but since it's our first, maybe every Terror mission episode can be a kind of double feature. Alright, Japan. I do hate the missions with all these cars.
Central, this is Big Sky. Confirm signal uplink. Strike team is in position near the terror site.
Okay, so this mission is kind of L-shaped with a high elevation area up here on the left, and a longer stretch up here on the right. I've had decent luck with this map. Note how many awesome hit points our character with extra conditioning has. 9. We've got an 8 on our other assault. We've got 3 characters with run and gun now. A scout and the 2 assaults. So they can kind of be one team. They'll be more forward because they can advance and retreat more flexibly. The infantry with his shotgun will be our main, the center of our group, with the Rocketeer trailing a little bit behind him and the medic supporting both of them. So, let's begin with the scout, since that's what scouts do best. Note where heavy cover is, this truck, although it's problematic because you can't take advantage of it and see most of the map. This truck up here, and this truck. So, since we have run and gun, we're gonna advance. Now, one thing I find about terror missions is you do need to push forward to a good position. So, activating aliens can be somewhat problematic, but you just have to go with it. Let's look for a good place to position our Rocketeer. Note that a lot of these cars will explode. And remember that I have 3 rockets. So... let's move our infantry, Alright, let us claim this territory. So we're giving up our medic's overwatch, and I already scoped out to make sure he can move up into it to make everyone a little safer, since we don't have heavy cover to rely on. Look at my accuracy up here. Note that I have smoke at both of these light cover at the car, which is where I'm going to engage with these guys. I'm going to go ahead and use run and gun immediately. I find that you spend a lot more time holding your ground in terror missions because of the number of enemies and the fact that the melee enemies can destroy you in a second if you advance too fast. So let me figure out what I can do with my scout. And as for civilians, you just can't worry about them. I hate it for them, but too bad. Sorry, civilians. Alright, this character has the most health. Gun to run and gun here. Gonna take the easy shot, see how that turns out.
Negative damage.
I'm gonna want some overwatch. Okay, nice smokiness. I haven't seen any aliens that have
Moving at the speed of death.
this assault. We're going to put centrally right here on Overwatch
I'm on it.
in case the enemy closes, because we really want our infantry close enough to shoot twice. And remember, he has a shotgun, so he has to be pretty darn close. Gonna use running gun on this character and back him up, put him on Overwatch, and lastly gonna move this Rocketeer up into smoke. 33% chance, not so hot. We're gonna put him on Overwatch too, since I'm feeling a little slim on Overwatch. Now, they may just murder civilians on their turn. What I don't want to do is make the mistake of closing with these guys when some other aliens or chrysalids are going to just charge up and murder me. Alright. Healing could be a priority. I can just take my shots here. I have fairly good accuracy. He did not go into Overwatch, he shot me. Jerk. And if I want to heal him before he moves, I have to move there. So let's see what our we can close with this assault, or we can just shoot from here. Problem with closing is our running gun is out, and right now we're dealing with a manageable number of aliens. So I'm not going to do it. Alright, so note that this alien's health is now below half, which means we get an executioner bonus with our infantry. If we're lucky, he can take him out. Our scout will have the next best on. We're gonna move this. Yes, our scout will have the next best chance. Alright, so we play the odds. Now our infantry used up all of his actions. So unfortunately our medic is going to have to move into low cover.
Easy now, soldier.
Now even without that savior perk we would have got a full heal. But the savior perk was more for advanced purposes. Now I'm going to hunker my Rocketeer so that the aliens would rather shoot at my medic, because there's nothing worse than losing your Rocketeer. And now we only have this guy. I'm gonna advance him, see what he can see, and then hunker. Okay. A lot more floaters than chrysalids this mission. If Unfortunately, they don't seem to want to all tackle me at once. I would love to get into heavy cover somehow. Also note, these cars can explode and deal with quite a few floaters all on their own. Okay, this guy's in a nasty position for him. Because I can definitely flank him. That's usually the scout's job. Take those beautiful flanking shots. We'd kill a civilian. At the moment, civilians are like distractions. We're kind of happy to have them. Put him in Overwatch. Move our infantry up. Move this infantry up. Heavy cover is great. Take our excellent shot. I mean, the hit chance wasn't great, but chance to crit is pretty good. I'm not gonna screw around since that missed. We're going for a rocket on these guys. Okay, come on, work with me, game. Now look where I'm sending my rocket, far away from my troops, especially because of the huge blast radius. Possibly a bonus that I hadn't considered for taking snapshot instead of danger zone is that it's much more manageable on a small map, not blow up your own people. But let's take this shot. Okay, beautiful. Of course we took out a civilian. I don't know what to say about that. Sorry, civilian. Going to advance my medic here. 2 enemies with good shots on me. Overwatch. Now is not the time to be taking risks. Just gonna move into this heavy cover and hope it doesn't trigger an alien pod. That's a shame. Oh god. Whew. Now he's really exposed. That's a little terrifying. Okay, so all these deaths you're seeing, the blackness, are enemies killing them. If you ever see poisoned, it means either a zombie or a chrysalid has killed a civilian. And that is bad news for you. If it's a chrysalid, it's really bad news. Okay, that guy needs to die. Our scout would be an excellent choice to take a shot. Our medic too, since he's really close. And then once it's below half health, our infantry might do a decent job. Everyone seems to be behind cover. This guy's even got a shot. Oh, running gun is back. Oh, see, here we go. Our shotgun is actually the best chance we have. And do we want to move and take this shot? No. Let's just take it. Now note our infantry, of course, still has his pistol. 70% chance, that's actually better than anyone else. And we're going to take it.
Joy in.
See, don't forget, pistol. And you see how useful Executioner can be. Still got a shotgun blast left, and we switched weapons immediately so we don't forget. And accidentally put him on pistol Overwatch. And our scout did bring an arc thrower. I'm gonna use a shredder rocket on these fools. How many? One of them is already shredded, actually. Right? Mm-hmm. No one went into Overwatch as far as I could remember. Dangerous words. So one nice thing about run and gun is it helps you collect civilians pretty well. And of course, since our scout has lightning reflexes, he's the perfect one to find out if there was alien Overwatch or not. Alright, so we did use our run and gun. We've got decent chances to hit. We'll have to reload after this. Let's try the weakened one. Very nice. Let's look at who we have left. Plenty of actions. Can move up here. Rescue this final civilian, though that's really a small priority. I don't mind moving closer to this alien. Of course, remember, if we reduce that alien to half health or less, we can get a shot. Now, nobody should be feeling moving into this side of this van is really asking for it, because aliens up here can come and flank you really fast. I feel like this guy might be a little scared. I'm gonna take a shotgun shot. Alright, note that I'm not really worrying about using the arc thrower. We're gonna move him up because we want him to be able to engage. And I'm gonna move this guy here. So we have at least 2 assault rifles in Overwatch. Yeah, we are so not worried about civilians, about other aliens. Ooh, excuse me. Okay, now we're going to want to reload our scout, so he's not optimal to move first. We have 2 characters with run and gun available. So let's see what we can see. There's one floater up there. He's going to be hard to hit. And he can't actually fly across this zone because it's a border, so he'll have to come down and then over past these pipes. Still, it puts us in a really weird position. I think we can make him flanking us a bad idea for him. Let's talk about who we want to move up. I'm going to bring the Rocketeer to here because I feel like I might see more action in this zone where we dropped a shredder rocket already. I feel like there might be enemies back behind this overturned 18-wheeler. Maybe this medic up here. He can take a shot if I feel like it. I don't feel like I'm gonna get flanked from this area, so I'm a little hesitant to throw people on this side of the van in case others appear from back there. But I'm gonna move him here. Who can we see? Where was that other enemy? Oh, gross. This changes everything. Okay, so I see chrysalids. What they can move really fast. They have high health. My Rocketeer's already moved, or I'd think about taking a shot on them right now. My first thought is to pull back so that they can't move too close to me. He is about as far forward as I want any of my characters to get, which means this guy is definitely too far. So, we're gonna move him back. We're gonna give him Overwatch because shotgun Overwatch does great things against chrysalids. Kind of the optimal strategy if they're closing with you. On that note, we're going to pop some smoke. To protect this light cover where we're going to have some shotgun Overwatch from the floaters so that it can take care of any chrysalids. So hopefully the floater is the one retreating. We're going to put him on Overwatch. And of course our scout needs to reload. And can do so from this smoky position. Remember, we brought a lot of grenades too. Oh, please don't be something that's gonna flank me and shoot right now. Okay. Please, Overwatch shots. Please, shotguns. I wanted to get close enough that I can actually not have wasted my Overwatch turns. Fortunately, it looks like that's gonna happen. Oh.
As unprofessional as it sounds, the bites.
Alright, our first zombie. One thing you want to note, zombies created by chrysalids will turn into chrysalids after 3 turns. And it's hard to tell how many turns that they've been zombies, but they'll start to throw up on the ground right before they go. Obviously, and you'll note that they have 12 health. 12. That's a lot of shooting. And they move fairly fast, although melee units have some weird AI issues. We need to make sure we have fully loaded shotguns, lots of Overwatch to take care of these melee units that are coming in on us. And of course, the very first thing we want to do is take this guy out. And this is why infantry are so good. Also, Executioner. Note I tried not to put my smoke grenades so far forward that I couldn't actually that I actually protected a chrysalid. But, you know. Okay. So, the floater with the ranged weapon moved away. There's heavy cover here. Where's our... Yes, here's our run and gun. Let's move him up. See what he can see. Okay, there's a chrysalid. What can our Rocketeer do? That looks perfect to me. Now, is it actually going to hit this chrysalid? Yes, hopefully. Maybe we'll even hit something else. Take the shot. Perfect. That looks like... Okay, it looks like we shredded some chrysalids by a vehicle which exploded and killed them. I'd love the corpses, but I will definitely take dead chrysalids. We're gonna have to reload this person next turn, depending on how well this shot goes. Alright, this is why we bring shotguns on terror missions. Gonna move here, go into Overwatch. Up against this wall, under this wall, is an especially good area for a floater up here because they'll often move over you and you'll get this underside shot that's at very close range. We don't have a whole lot. We don't have enough Overwatch to take down a chrysalid that charged us. So I'm gonna be a little hesitant. Move our scout up. We also want to watch out for that floater. Gonna leave this guy in Overwatch just in case the floater comes back the very next round. Alright. We've got... This character has no ammo. They do have run and gun. Our scout does have run and gun. Well, let's advance and see what threats we're facing this turn. Okay, doesn't look so bad. We'll move him last. This character is next. We would like to know if there are any enemies back here, but we also want to advance up here. The problem would be if there are shooter enemies back here, and that is going to be what our scout does next turn. This turn we're going to sit tight, mostly, and we're going to reload. Let's move close, where he can't be seen, but he can move next turn. He'll have running gun next turn. We want to advance our rockets. I'm going to move this guy to his former position. Shotgun Overwatch. I'm going to run the medic up here. Rifle Overwatch. Leave this character in the 1 point of heavy cover. Reload. We're going to advance the Rocketeer up here and add some Rifle Overwatch.
Shut up. Listen.
Okay, we pray this thing dies. Oh god. Because he could really spell some doom for our scout. Fortunately, he was very flanked. Now, when I look at this, what I see is an excellent capture opportunity. I'm already in range. Wow. Already in range. I can stay in my position. I just need to peg his health down a little. Assault rifles are not going to kill him. We will also try and conserve Overwatch so as not to get murdered while doing this. Who has a smoke grenade? Alright, we've got a smoke grenade if we need it. Bunch of willing pistols. First things first, I need to know where enemies might be. Well, I hate to move up here and possibly trigger some bad guys. I definitely don't want chrysalids running around. Okay, now I feel a lot safer. If I hadn't checked up here, or I'd moved up here after moving all my other troops in an effort to capture this guy, I could have been severely boned by any enemies. As it is, I suspect this guy may be the last. Okay. First thing we do is move the medic really close. I can actually flank. I don't want to flank because I don't want crits. I want to steadily pick his health down. Perfect. Alright, it doesn't get any better than this. Now remember, accuracy doesn't matter. Another reason why the arc thrower is great on rookies. Accuracy doesn't make much difference. Let's see if moving closer will increase my chances. What do I have, 56% chance? Alright, so range doesn't either. So this is why the arc thrower is great on anybody. It works exactly the same no matter what. And it's always kind of crappy chance, but it's never going to get better by complaining. Okay, so no...
Nailed it, Commander.
Oh, excellent. Alright, so that turned out fairly well. Our infantry got injured. This is why we saved our best troops for last. The amount of melee units was a lot less than I expected. Maybe I'm just thinking of later missions. There's one in particular that comes to mind. It's like a zombie apocalypse. There's our infantry out for 23 days. Everyone else for 5 or 6. Fine, they'll be back at the beginning of the month.
Unfortunately, without an available containment facility,
of course,
the subject you brought back to headquarters expired before we could get
our
value.
captured floater died,
Speak to Dr. Chant right
is what the
away.
doctor is telling us. But we did secure a plasma carbine. No, carbine. Someone corrected me in the chat. Rhymes with 9. Chrysalid corpse, all the other ones got bloated up. I'm just gonna call that luck. Yeah, 5 floater corpses, plasma carbine. Panic in Japan is decreased by 1, like I told you. Terror missions allow us to decrease panic. We have 3 days until the council report, which we will cover next episode because this one has gone on way too long. Congratulations, people. We are still in the long war. I will see you next time. This has been a pleasure.